Please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
You. Make a motion, we approve the minutes from December 14th. Second. All in favor? You. All payroll and APs have been signed in the folders, they're completed. The board met with the town's attorney today on the review for the municipal fire department ordinance. I should have the legal draft review no later than tomorrow, so we can get that out for public review. And as a board, with the clerk and yourself, Lynn, we'd set up workshop so that we can get the warrant put together. That will consist of 3 ordinances: the proposed repeal of the dog ordinance, making it the animal control ordinance, the municipal fire department ordinance, and the STR. And as it stands now, we're looking at a probable 4 articles, in addition to 1 to 950 for escrow for the public safety building. That establishes that as an escrow account where it should be. The cleaning up the historical Article 6 and 7, and the enterprise grant that they are currently working on, essentially asking permission for the 25% buy-in if we're awarded. But we need to establish a workshop, because we need to, well, not only need to work on that warrant for the referendum, but also the town warrant, and you know, the layout for that, informationals for that as well. So the informational meetings for the 3 ordinances, 1's a change, 2 will be new, the STR and the municipal fire department ordinance. There'll be informational meetings on all of those, and then the required public hearings that will follow with those. So what do you think of work as far as workshop time? Because we've got next week, we've got essentially 3 weeks to do those 3 items for informational and public hearing. What do you think, fellas?
What works for you?
Well, the informational, we should do them at, and even the public hearings, do them at, you know, in the evening when people are more apt to be able to show up. So, why don't we do the 29th at 6? Wait a minute, hold on. I mean, a workshop we can do during the day because it's not public. I mean, public can join, but we're not here to talk to the public. So we could do it, you know, say 3 o'clock. You want to come in the 28th at 3, and we'll do the workshop for so we can set hard dates on public hearings. That work?
Yeah, so we're talking 28, 29 so far.
28th It's 28th is Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we can do it at 3 and 5:30 have the selectmen's meeting. And that workshop is to set all the informational meetings and public hearings for those 3 ordinances. I do ask that the planning board, the evening we do the informational on the STR, that have some planning board members there to speak to that.
And, we did receive that back from Ben McCall.
Yes,
So he had some comments. And then Ann was just trying to get by email, trying to get everybody's okay to forward it to the select board. Even though we haven't voted on it, but everybody has reviewed it. So, it gives you just a leg up.
Yeah.
And then on our February 4th meeting, we'll vote to approve it.
so how do you guys feel about us putting this out on the website for review, public review?
Just check with Pam, because Pam had sent out an email and a couple of people responded and said they were fine with sending it to the select board.
Okay.
Cleaned up. She was gonna clean it up and take out, Ben's tendency cross outs and whatnot. So, if you ask me, I'm fine with it.
Okay, I'll hit Pam up and see if she can give us a clean version.
There's 2 versions there, the markup and below the clean version, give you a copy of each.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
No, those are both marked up. I do have a clean version.
So as long as we have a clean version, are you two good with putting that out for public review?
Yep.
Good with that, Joe?
Yeah, I'm good with it. And it probably means, if Lynn has a copy of it, probably means that it can work back from everybody eventually.
Okay.
So,
So, yeah, let's do that. You can put the clean version out on the website. Please email it to the 3 board members.
Mhm.
I'll forward it to Leah just for her cognizance. I know she's already spoken to Ben, so should be good with that. So perfect. Let's see. Okay, so Leah's gonna have the clean version of the fire department ordinance, so we'll get that, we can get that put on the website, which will be Monday. So we should be good there. The dog ordinance, ACO ordinance should be already on there. So yeah, we'll be good and tight as far as the ordinances out there for public review prior to doing any informational.
If you could avoid the 29th, that would be great, because that's the next meeting with the CPIC
Okay.
and the grant people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we could do we're gonna discuss it next Tuesday, but we could do probably Thursday evening, do an informational meeting. And then do another informational or 2 informationals on the week of the 3rd through the 7th. Because the 4th, we have an executive with the attorney at 3:30, I think.
3:30.
And then the selectmen's meeting, which is the 4th, this Tuesday. I spoke with Michelle in regards to, we can have a draft warrant for the 14th, but that gives us enough time, as long as we have the final version ready for absentee ballot for March 1st. And we can go right to the public hearings 7 days prior to vote day. We're good. So if we can get the information out there, that'll give us time, and we have a placeholder with a warrant, so we should be all set. So yeah, the 29th is the next CPIC. 6 o'clock.
6:30.
6:30. Okay. Yeah, so I think date wise, it would be okay. Perfect.
Was the 29th of January?
Yeah.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's 6:30.
Is what here now? When's the next building meetings? The 11th, right?
Which,
Public safety building,
I don't know, the building.
public safety buildings, the 11th.
Well, that's not. Oh, 11th, yeah, 6 o'clock.
Okay, yeah, so we should be good. That is perfect. Alright. Okay. Last week's selectmen's meeting, we had 4 bids turned in for the electronic sign, and there was quite the discussion. So.
Did you want to do the workshop on it?
No, I don't think we should. Well, not that we shouldn't. A lot of time went into this 1 month worth of time, and for the people that put the effort forth to do all of the work, and then for the companies to spend their time providing us with those bids. I think it's an injustice that we don't open them and we don't move forward with this. This has been publicly spoken of, you know, in regards to with updates, regular updates, for 4 months. And nothing was brought to myself, to Frank, to you, until the night of the bids. And there was only 2 people that spoke against it. Not a majority, there wasn't a big uproar about it. So I am of the opinion, you know, we spoke about it and agreed as a board to move forward with this for the last 4 months. So I am of the opinion myself that we do move forward with it. And we open the bids and we make motion and vote.
There was someone, Gene Blake requested a town meeting.
Yep.
Vote on, have the town vote on it, whether it's public town meeting or not, and. You know, talk with other people mentioned to me, they'd also like to see more public, information on it at a, public hearing, but they'd like to vote on it, basically, because of the amount of money it might be, and, some of them specifically, crazy about an electric digital sign. I mean, it's not that I go out and search for them, they're just ask me about it, post office, whatever, yeah.
It's that's not, and I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah,
I just find it just remarkable that we spent 4 months. Openly, there's nothing hidden here. We talk about everything, we put it out there. And, we're provided updates. Publicly, the committee members had come to the selectmen's meetings. They were on the agenda. Hey, we did this, we did that, we looked into this, we asked these questions, we spoke to these people, and. I like to think that I am very good at asking at every selectmen's meeting. Multiple times, does anybody have anything? And at no time has anybody stated anything, questioning the electronic sign. I have no emails on it. I have no phone calls on it. I have no correspondence. There's been nothing that's come in via town admin, via the treasurer, the town clerk,
Nothing at all. And you know, to me, only one taxpayer, hey, I don't like this. By the 1,699 others that are out there. And, if it was that. If it was more controversial, I would think that there would have been more participation and hey, why would you guys want to spend that kind of money? Especially when the bids haven't even been opened. We don't know what it's. I don't have any idea. So for anybody, I know that the committee members had asked, when they did a sign, or I believe it was Saucony Valley, or whatever, it cost them $35,000. Okay. If that's what they're basing it on, okay, yeah, oh, well, if it's 35,000. But only one taxpayer came forward. And for something that seemed that controversial to only have one person come forth, we have more than one taxpayer we have to please.
Well, you got two. You got me.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, my concern is that, we've spent a lot of money since I've been here since September. And necessary money, I mean, conditional money, it's some money that had to be spent. Between the American Disabilities Act, talking with, Dicky Perot just yesterday casually, and he's looking at probably having to replace the fire chief car this year. I think what the committee did was great, and I think it's good information, and that's what committees are for, to study things, put the information, and then it's to be determined by either the selectmen how it's voted on for the monies and brought to the town. I think just because one person showed up doesn't mean there's only one person interested. There's money just being spent, and there's probably going to be more coming in that are necessities, I would imagine, with almost 6 months left. And to me, it's a nice idea, but it's not. There's nothing broken down that it has to be replaced right now. I know the old sign's got some dysfunctional stuff with it, which could be upgraded. There wasn't a study done to see about, a typical sign like we have or upgrading it. But to me, I just think, looking at the states, looking at a $400 million deficit for the next 2 years, $118 million deficit in Medicaid this year. Governor Mills is going to cut the 2.5% raise for the healthcare workers. So there's so many cuts that are being made statewide. Schedule, they're looking at not probably giving as much money to the school systems because public schools. There's some things that we're just going to have to make sacrifices for, in my opinion. But I mean, that's all. I mean, and it's not just my money; it's taxpayers' money. I mean, part of the thing we get elected for is austerity, and that's how I feel about it. So yeah, obviously my vote when it comes around, and I don't even know what to vote on. I know, like you say, the bids haven't been open, and the people don't know. If they knew what the monies were, there might be a different attitude, one way or the other.
Agreed, that we are put in place to keep an eye on the money. And I agree with that.
And we have taxpayers at the assessors meeting, and they're.
Well, at the assessors meeting, I like to clear that up. I was there. I
Yeah.
did my fair share of talking at that. And for a long time, it was 21 years since this town had a reevaluation that brought the tax values up to market value. And one thing I will definitely say with all taxpayers, including myself, is when we know that what we have is worth more than what we're being taxed on, mum is the word.
why would we want to ruin a good thing? If we're paying taxes, a lower tax rate on something we know is worth more, and we all know it. And we would all do it, because I don't know of anybody in this town when the market value were through the roof. Came in to see the the tax collector, said, you know what? You know, my property is only, you know, you guys are all saying my property is only worth 250,000, but you know. I just talked to a realtor and I can sell it right now for $700,000. So, you know, maybe I should be taxed accordingly on that. Not one person come in and do it. Okay? Yes, it was a sticker shock. It was a sticker shock to everybody. I said, but everybody here knows that the market values have been through the roof for a long time. The last time we had a drop in real estate values was in 2008 when it crashed. It has done nothing but climb since. And the prices have stayed high for a long time. Now, COVID really drove that home. The prices really skyrocketed. People wanted to move, they wanted to get out of the big cities. I get it. The prices have dropped. And prime example, 2 undeveloped acres on Farnsworth Road, $150,000. That's $75,000 an acre. That's what it sold for. If people really paid attention in that assessor's meeting, when a realtor spoke, well, I know that there are houses out there that they're overappraised because, you know, I've been doing this for, you know, 50 years, and the assessors can only utilize the sales comparisons in the town, whereas a realtor can go 50 miles out and do a comparable suite. Okay? So a property in Brownfield that is highly sought after because of the location, where rural, and then you have a more highly developed, not as sought after area close to here. There's a value, there's a big change in the value. So the assessors are kind of stuck in a catch-22, because they can only utilize what's in the town boundaries. Vice a realtor having the ability to utilize 50-mile radius. Well, the house is the same square footage, the property is about the same size, it has the same accoutrements. Okay, so I'm gonna take this house that's 60 miles away, and I'm gonna take it from this 25 and this one that's 40. Yeah, this is about what it's worth. Assessors don't have that. So, and the math adds up when all of the reports are sent to the state and they're verified, and they're 98%. We're allowed 80 to 110, and we're at 98. So I think the assessors have done a good job in keeping with what the state is, what we're required to for statewide. So the sticker shock is the biggest complaint. Oh, my taxes double. Well, that tells me that your house is a lot nicer than you're letting on. So, you know, being at that meeting, I didn't see 100 people. I saw 20. So again, there's a large disparity. We have 1,700 people, small collection of 20 they had questions, and not all of them complained. Some of them just had legitimate questions to ask the assessors. Well, how does that work? Why was it done that way? But it was 21 years. Had we done it, there wouldn't have been such a shock. It wouldn't have been such a drastic change in the number. So I do agree, Vinny, that spending money is sometimes hard not to do.
Well, I mean, as far as this stuff, I mean, there's a lot of taxpayers who don't have high value property who are struggling with the taxes. And the other ones, they're really struggling. And, you know, some of them went up. My taxes went up 40%, which wasn't much. because my property isn't valued that high.
That's a rich guy talk.
Well, you know, I can accept it, because my taxes aren't that high, and. You know, for me, it's worth the money I'm paying for it, so, but. You know, other people, well, they can't afford their tax going up, even 10%, 20%, and. And, yeah, I mean, whatever the bill is for the sign isn't gonna affect anybody's taxes that much. But at some point. There's gonna be a place where. The buck stops, you know?
Yep.
And to me, you know, there's a lot of work that has to be done, I think. Around the town, there's more stuff gonna come in, I mean, eventually, we're gonna have to pay for maintenance for us trails. In the long run, way down the line, you know, the fire department, when they put their building up, they're gonna have to pay more insurance, there's gonna be more maintenance. Which they need the building, you know, I talked with Whit today, looking at it and everything, and there's no space down there for them, so. But that's where, you know, I'm looking at it as a taxpayer. And as a selectman who has to spend other taxpayers' money. Or recommended, you know. But I think, like you say, not enough people showed up. Well, then I think it should go to a public hearing or a public vote and see what they think once they see how much it's gonna cost. Cause
Well, the thing is, it's gonna be very difficult to. Have a informational meeting or a public hearing and tell them it's gonna cost this amount. And then. 4 months from now, we get another bid and it's $5,000 more. So then what do? We scrap it again and start the process over again?
well, that works with
You know what I'm
anything,
saying?
yeah,
Well, no, that's exactly what it is, because we're running into that problem right now
you know,
with the public safety building. You know, we got $3.898 million to put in a building. And currently, you know, the floor plan was 14,000 square feet. And we're coming to fruition, timeline wise, that now I would be amazed if we're gonna be able to afford 8,000 square feet. And that's almost half the size of that building because of time. It isn't because people are dragging their feet or, you know, no, it's time. As time is going by, that building is getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller because the cost of materials is going up. Availability is getting more, and you know, the longer we put things off, the more it's going to cost us in the future. And you know, I spent hours with the treasurer before we even brought this and even had a discussion in a selectmen's meeting about an electronic sign. One of the major complaints that a lot of the taxpayers have is the lack of knowing what is going on. What is happening? When was that meeting? How come it wasn't out on the board? How come, you know, nobody knew about it? So yes, we did spend some money, and honestly, I think it was a good investment because now, you said the new website is gonna be up and going on the 30th.
On the 30th. yeah.
That right there speaks volumes,
oh, yeah,
because people are gonna be able to go in, they're gonna see the calendars, everything that's going on. Just the amount of information that is gonna be at the fingertips of the taxpayers that have the ability to go online. It's there. And that sign is another avenue that we are putting out the information that so many taxpayers complain about not getting. We don't know what's going on. We don't know when this is happening. How come I didn't hear about this? It's gonna be right there on Main Street, both sides. And it can be changed in a matter of seconds, right from inside. And I really do think that it is a good upgrade for the town So that that information can be presented to the taxpayers, they know what's going on. Hey, you know, there's a public safety building meeting happening, you know. Whatever day at 6 o'clock, you know. I got some questions I'd like to find out about that. And that's on their drive home. The next morning, they're driving the opposite way to go to work. Oh, look at that, we got a budget committee meeting. I got some questions about the budget. Oh, perfect, you know. The ability to get that much more information out and not have to rely on a computer screen in somebody's living room, I think is worth the money, 100%. You know, and even with the taxpayers that. One of the things when I got 10 years on the budget committee. And one of the things that I always kind of personally myself had a hard time with was the library. You know, it's a 501, it's its own entity, and we were raising and appropriating the full operating budget. And one of the things that was always kind of a selling point for the library is the free internet. Free use of the internet. People are gonna go in there, they can sit in the parking lot, they can get on their phones, they can use a tablet, they can go and use the computers in there. And that's just another avenue that we as taxpayers are paying for, that are allowing people of this town the ability to get the information that they're looking for in running their town and getting the information so that they can make appropriate votes when the time is necessary. I really, I would really like the board to make a decision tonight. To that we either open the bids and we move forward with this sign. Or. It's tabled. Joe.
I'd like to save the select board a little bit of time. I know typically when there's bids, you open the bids and you make a decision. But the sign committee, I wouldn't vote on accepting one of those tonight. Because the sign committee needs to go through those proposals and find out if everything is apples to apples. And it could just be something as simple as the size of the sign that we asked for. Maybe somebody came in with a number with a size that's smaller, so their number is going to be less. And then we have to put together the numbers for the frame that goes out there. We're assuming the footings will be done by the Department of Public Works, and then we have to bring electric to it. So we need to put that all together so that when everybody look, especially the select board, when you look at what the cost of it is, you have the total cost. So my recommendation is open the bids, find out where they are. And then Lynn, she'll keep the original copies. She'll make copies for the sign committee, and then we'll get back to you with what the total cost is. And
So why don't we just have the committee open those 4, file it, provide the final. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we haven't made a decision to do it anyways.
Correct.
We gotta have the information to.
Right.
Yeah, we should,
So.
we can't vote on it unless we see how much it costs, I mean,
Right.
yeah.
The only thing that bothers me about this, what's going on right now is. You know, we discussed it, agreed to go ahead with it. They put the time into it. And then when it comes time to make the decision. That's when somebody does it.
Right.
Put coffee in the spoke, so to speak, you know what I mean? It's. Why wait till the last minute? And that could happen all the time, I mean. It's pretty hard to make decisions, if every time you make a decision, somebody's gonna second guess.
Well, I mean, to vote on it, you have to know the amount, you know, and
Right.
we didn't know, I still don't know the amount.
you.
So, I mean, and that's, I mean, a committee just makes recommendations, they don't. You know, they do the hard work, they do the research, they do the connections and everything else. And they come and then I would think, from my point of view, we sort of take together what's going on everywhere else on the budget that we've been going on. And for me, what's going on outside in the state and whatever else, and then try to interpolate it into if that sign at this point, is affordable, as part of the doing business in the town with everything else that might be coming down this pike.
Really, the only way you could do that, then, if you open bids, is you take the lowest bid, and add a certain percent to it, because you're gonna, it's gonna take, who knows how long it's gonna take before you actually do the project. So you gotta have money enough to cover it at that time. It might not be the same as that bid says.
Yeah, and my feeling is you put the 10% in and put it to the town, taxpayers want it, it's their money.
But the problem you're gonna run into, Benny, is these companies. If they give us a bid and, I mean, it's January. And. Your way of thinking is, okay, we open a bid, we're gonna take the lowest bid, say it, just throw a number out there, $30,000. And we have to take that to town meeting in the middle of June. Okay? So. Say that $30,000, we add 10%, so now it's $33,000. And the taxpayers say, yep, spend the $33,000. We reach back out to that company. Because we took the lowest bid. Hey, you know what, we're gonna take you up on your on the $30,000 bid that you. Provided to us. Well, sorry, man, that was 6 months ago. The price of it now is gonna be $53,000 and we can't touch it for a year and a half. Now what? So now we've lost out on that opportunity. And almost double our bill because we wanted to wait 6 months. And we can never, there's no way that we will ever be able to. Go out and ask a company for a bid. And hold them to it 6 months later, it's just not, it's not feasible.
We could put it on, we could put it on the referendum in April. I mean, we could put it on the referendum in April and let people vote on it. And we'll have the numbers for them and it could be started after April. I mean, they won't be able to start anything till after April anyway.
Just to clarify something for the select board, when we spoke to these manufacturers, these providers, we told them that this wouldn't happen until the summer of 2025. So number one, they already have that incorporated into their bid. And number two, if we move forward with this, one of the conditions of the award will be, hey, you're gonna do it on such and such a date. If you can't, we can go to the next person. So I don't think that that's a real worry right now. It'd be different if it were a year from now, but we forewarned them that, like, here's what we have to do. So we'll be good with that. We'll be good.
Debbie, put your hand up if you can.
Thank you for speaking up about that. I appreciate what you said. Now, Vinny, you said that you talked to Whit today. Did you talk about the sign?
I talked a little bit with the sign, yep.
He's at a training right now.
Yeah, I know he is. Yeah, I
He
said.
texted me and asked me if I would read his message. He's asking if the electronic sign is brought up. Could you relay my opinion that as a citizen and member of the committee, I think the bids should be opened and a reply sent to each bidder thanking them for their bid, and the project needs to go into further review.
So we talking about, yeah. Okay.
As the RFP that was sent out stated, the bids would be opened in a select board meeting. And it's a professional courtesy to reply to all bidders acknowledging their efforts. I think that's only fair. Going back 4 months, when we first gathered, the first question I asked is, where is the money coming from? And how much money do we have? I'm the first one. I'm the biggest tightwad there is. I was told capital improvement. Do we have the money? Oh, yes, we do. That's what got us started. And we've come so far. And it's going to help everybody in this town. And just a few people, where are those people that are talking to you about this? Where are they?
Which mother's one of them?
Who?
Which mother?
Where is she?
She was gonna come here tonight and I said, I don't think it's on the agenda or wasn't put on the meeting thing. And
She can come to any public
I
meeting.
told her she could get on it on Zoom if she wanted to, it's possible. But she was considering coming tonight, and if it was on here, I would have told her definitely come. I thought we were gonna have another workshop because we had one that got canceled.
So there's 3 people.
Well, there's 3
Nina
people that
and Jean.
I've talked to, I mean, no, there's other people who mentioned it, you know, I mean.
You know, I mean.
Where are they? It's the same people here every week, and I'm glad people show up. And I'm glad everybody that's here shows up every week. But if you look at the attendance, there's even some of the people that usually show up here every week on here right now. And it's just the way it is in town. But Whit and I discussed it today, and I'm not saying he was for it, against it, but we discussed
It's
it.
on the committee.
Yeah, I know, that doesn't mean he's for it, okay?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everybody that's on a committee doesn't, it's why you have a committee, so there can be discrepancies. Pardon me?
He went around and measured.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
He went around, he spent more time, Joe spent more time than
yeah,
I did, but I spent a lot of time on the phone.
right, what should committee members do?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know that. It's hard when you're working all day, when you have to call these people during the day.
Yeah, everybody really appreciates it. But I'm just saying, when I talked with Whit, he said, yeah, you know, if it's on the agenda tonight, you know, and he expressed what you expressed. And it should be, he expressed mostly when we talked about the bid should be open, so that the committee would have an idea what the bids are as a courtesy. And the people who submitted them, like Brian Merrill said last week, you know, the companies, as a courtesy to them, we should open the bids. And maybe, and then Whit said, you know, if we didn't, we should at least acknowledge to the companies that we did open the bids, and we're grateful for their bids, whether we accept them or not. So that's what we talked about. Pardon?
The price will be triple. So then.
We can speculate everything. I mean, sure, notifying people of everything. Well, there's, yeah, no, it's, yeah, I mean, I've used the Shoppers Guide, obviously. Well, I mean, that's a free, that goes door to door. I mean, that's a free subscription. Well, you can get it, you can pick it up somewhere. I mean, there's stores that have it. Well, most people are store to door. It can be advertised in other newspapers and meeting. I mean, other towns, you know, advertise their meetings in the papers. I don't know many towns that have a digital sign out front of the town office, you know. Well, I mean, maybe it should be looked into, why don't they? I mean, what's their attendance at their meetings? So, I mean, to me, go ahead, I'm sorry, Carly.
The idea is you've had a business.
Yeah,
You've had signage trying to advertise and use whatever Freiburg Fair to bring people into yours. This is also a business trying to relay information. So you get bits and pieces. Think trying to piece together on a sign like that. One meeting at a time in the weather, their time can be spent better. Absolutely. But somewhere we've got to, the idea, you're saying people don't come out. A lot of people don't know. People don't know. We have to somehow be able to inform people of what's taking place as a business.
well, I mean, at the town meetings, the one thing the moderator usually says is, he does other town meetings and he's impressed with how many people come to our town meeting.
And that's great.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is. I know it, right? Yeah, and yeah, they can call the town office. They can look at it, it can be advertised. I mean, the information committee, you know, they.
This meeting, that meeting, as opposed to having a sign that informs everybody.
I've changed the sign when I was on the budget committee. Yeah, I mean, so I mean, you can put it up there. The hours have been up there for 4 weeks, okay, which is good, that means they haven't blown away, which is a good sign, but the sign does need repairs, from what everybody says. So, to me, it's a matter of, yeah, I'll stop talking in a second, it's just a matter of economy. At this point in time, with everything that's being spent, and we've had to spend, and it's been required to spend.
Issues.
Well, this year's been a little different. We've had some executive sessions on stuff. We've had American Disability Act, that's probably not gonna come up next year. We've had the computer stuff that we've had to do, that's not gonna come up next year. And I'm glad it's been done, and it's another way for people to access them. Go ahead, Rick, you want to-
Dan,
One comment and another question. Question is, with that sign that was supposed to help with the rec center that everybody loves so much, so they put out there. There's stuff on that too.
the electronic sign will advertise anything townwide,
Yeah.
regardless of, what the content is, and
Yeah.
any of the town information.
But the rec center has their own sign. They have a sign in front of the rec center,
I don't see it. You downtown, you don't see it.
huh?
I don't see anything,
Well,
and if it is, it's old.
that's not the sign's fault. I mean, no, all right.
Terry?
Well, I'm not the director of the rec center.
So, I think if somebody raises a question about the town spending money and all of a sudden it has to be delayed to go to a town vote, I think we're gonna go into a rabbit hole where every time a question comes up about spending money, if one person raises their hand and says, I don't like that, all of a sudden, we're thrown back a few months in order to have everybody come out and vote on it. I mean, the website is one example of that. The select board made a decision, which is great. Now we have it ready to launch. It's not like we have to wait until, whatever, April, May, June, put it on the town meeting, because it's something that needs to be done. And the select board has to step up and make a decision. They assigned a committee to figure out the sign issues. A lot of time went into it. And when you ask the committee to do that, you should respect what the committee comes back. And just say, well, if there's a person or two people or three people who, are questioning the whole process. And there are ways now where people can find out if they want to. I put dates in the newsletter every single time it gets published about all the meetings coming up. People can choose to read it or not read it, or take the issues down from the post office and throw them in the trash because they don't like it. But there are ways for people to find out if they in fact care about what's going on in town. Show up. It's very easy to sit back and say, I don't like that. I wasn't informed. Well, make yourself informed. Put the time in and show up. All of us have something more we could be doing tonight, but we're here because we care about the town. So, what's that?
They have about 5 jobs they could be on right now.
So I mean, it's easy for somebody to get your ear, Vinny, or get your ear, Rick, get your ear, Lynn, but show up and talk about it so that, there can be a dialogue. Putting it in the newspaper gives one point of view going to people's houses. Nobody has a chance to respond. Here at least you can have a dialogue about it, talk about it, but people gotta show up.
Well, it's not only because someone got my ear, it's like I was saying, it's what I'm basing it on and what's being spent, and what the town and what people can afford. There's only so much. I mean, if the sign committed $100,000, would you want to do it? Well, so I mean, this is the limit. There's a point.
Right, so
And,
let's find
and
out.
the point is, I think at this point, the sign could go off till next year when there aren't as many other projects that we've had to work with and fund.
But it won't like-
Well, it's gonna go up to, how do we know the price is gonna triple? We don't. Well, it's the same thing. Everything is a basis on an opinion.
Chad?
Go ahead.
Couple of questions, or a couple statements and a question. First, the question. The capital improvement accounts are run by the select board. Am I right? That means that you guys can vote on how the money is spent without any taxpayers' input.
Correct.
Okay, Vinny, you keep saying you want to put it out to vote. Now, I'm asking your opinion.
Yeah.
When we go to town vote for the budget that we do after it comes out and people vote on it, how many people show up to that at the thing? Because the budget is all done on the people that show up at that meeting,
You mean the town meeting?
the town meeting.
Yeah,
So if only 200 people show up, they're making the decision for all of the town.
yeah,
Because they didn't want to show up to put their input in. The input started 4 months ago. You voted on it to go ahead with the committee and get this ball rolling.
yeah,
We went out and did the ball rolling and got the things. As far as what Joe's point was, that we should be the ones opening the bids so we can go out and find out what the base is gonna be and how much more it's gonna cost to get the stuff. I agree with that. Then we bring it to you. But then it's you three that make the decision. Because it's a capital improvement. We're not raising and appropriated, we already got them. It doesn't need to go to the town for their vote, because they're trying to upgrade the town. So that's what it goes for. And my last statement is, I've got rumors through the thing that the town is paying to plow somebody's driveway. Well, why isn't the town plowing mine?
well, they should report it.
It's been reported.
Well, okay, then that's good, thank you. But as far as, you know, the budget and everything, yeah, the town meeting, people come, most people, the only time they see that book is when they pick it up at the town meeting.
I agree.
Yeah,
But
so there's a town meeting well before, it's been advertised and everything else.
I
And,
understand.
and I'm so grateful that people come to town meeting. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care if the town meeting goes on for 3 days, as long as everybody gets a chance to speak. Right,
But
and
as the committee, as you guys, as the committee, you guys have sole control over the capital improvements.
right,
So when it goes to budget, we vote whether or not we're gonna raise and appropriate $30,000 every year. That then is split and put into $10,000 for each equipment improvement. If the town doesn't wanna do it, then they can ixnay it. But right now, we're trying to improve the town by putting the digital sign out there, so it's more actable for someone that is handicapped, that can't come to a meeting like this, because we haven't got all the way up to ADA approved, that's my opinion. So if I'm proving it wrong, somebody will correct me. So they may not come out because it's too damn cold, but they could be driving by, going to the store or up to the Mennonite store or whatever, and see it on the sign and go, hey, I think I want to put an input on it. That's what the sign is meant for, to give everybody more of an input. What took place, you guys, not you guys, you and a few other people are trying to take that away from the rest of the town.
no, I'm giving them the rest of the town, in my opinion, the opportunity to vote. A capital improvement account is not my money, it's the town's money, it's taxpayers' money, whether it's in a vault, on the table. It's their money and it's how it's spent. And it's my money, and I'm a taxpayer, but it's not that big of it.
But those accounts were set up so you, as the select board, could
Okay.
do what you needed to do to help improve the town.
Alright, so in order to move this forward, Joe, if we were to take the 4 bids, who's the chair of the committee?
We actually don't have one, it's just that group of 5 people. Very cooperative.
Okay,
If we need to make. the
okay,
chair
so,
do that.
alright, so why don't we do this? We're gonna turn I would recommend,
Yeah,
with the majority of the board here, that we take the bids that were turned to the committee, open them, respond accordingly, I agree. And see if you'll get a final number for, you know what I mean, so we have some options, and let's put it on a referendum for April 1st. It'll be X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure this is perfectly clear. And this is my opinion only. I am not speaking for the Board of Selectmen, either of my colleagues, the other elected official at this table. I agree with you, Terry. By doing this, by putting this out there, we're gonna put it on a referendum for the taxpayers to make the decision, regardless of how the vote goes. I'm gonna caution everybody that this is gonna open Pandora's box. And capital improvement. Well, the town may not see capital improvement. Because at this point, doing this, we're going to risk. Every time. Wow. I don't want, no, I don't wanna do that. So, and I wanna point out. Historically. How many. Referendums or town meetings do we have? Historically, at the town level. One per year, folks, one per year, town meeting. So. This does have the capabilities of. No improvements. Can be done, but once per year. And it does cost us money to do special town meetings, elections. It is not free. It's not super expensive like it was supposed to be years ago. We're not talking tens of thousands of dollars, folks, So there are ballot clerks, things of that nature that need to take place. The ballots cost money, the time to put it together, things of that nature. Right.
Do you know such things have a timeline built in it for like the summer? Like that,
For it to be completed, yes.
and it's, it would be good until that time, that's good.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened to the fire department? Did they wanna? They were gonna do the fire department like so many years ago and the town didn't want to. And now it's a lot more than it would have been, isn't it? Because people wanted to wait.
I don't remember us ever going to ask for a new building.
You might be talking about the municipal, ordinance,
Well, the municipal ordinance, there's,
maybe that's what she's referring to.
is that what you're speaking about, ma'am? Is the municipal fire department ordinance? That we're introducing
I thought they
or
wanted to
reintroducing?
build a new fire department years ago, and the town said no,
Oh,
and now it's gonna cost more.
how many years?
Quite a few years ago.
That was a long time, long time ago.
Before your time.
Okay, good to go. Cause I just don't recall that's why I'm asking. I didn't, I was only aware that. This building that we got the grant for is the only one that's been asked for.
They have put two additions on the fire department,
Yeah,
on the original, two additions on the original
Okay.
building.
yeah,
I just. And the town didn't want it.
yeah, that was before me. I honestly can't answer that. I'm sorry, I wasn't around.
That's right. I'm just learning. Johnny,
So basically, what you're saying by putting this on the referendum, it takes any power away from the select board at all. On doing capital improvements that the money was already voted on back at town meeting.
It has the potential because if we're going to sway on this capital improvement spending right now, are we gonna do it again and again and again? You know what I'm saying? It has the potential. Because I mean, honestly, and again, I'm not speaking for my colleagues at all. Having, sitting at this table. Three people. That this is the only thing that has been brought here one time. We don't want to spend this money. We don't want to do this. So how fair is it gonna be for this board to do this now? And then we have another project that comes up for capital improvement. And three more people come in and say, no, I don't like this. Okay, well, what are they gonna say? The first thing they're gonna say to this board is, well, you did it last time, why can't you do it for me?
Right, it sets a precedent.
And that's where it can get very treacherous. So. What do we do? I want to impress upon all the taxpayers, you know. We all want to do what's good for everybody. I mean, honestly, you know,
Well, the idea.
me personally, I'm not gaining anything with that sign. There's no personal gain for me. If I want to know whether I'm on the board or not, I'm either gonna drive up here, I'm gonna ask, I'm gonna run into somebody that's involved and ask, or I'm gonna get online and I'm gonna look it up, well, what do they got to say about this? You know, so there's no personal gain for me. The gain here, in my opinion, is that all taxpayers will have another avenue to get information. But hey, I just,
Kind of hard to believe that we can have three people that completely.
Yeah, I know.
I'm, and
throw things.
I don't want anyone to think that there's finger pointing. Okay, by no means, absolutely not. And speaking with my colleagues, if they feel so inclined that we take this to referendum, I'm good with that. You know, no problem. But I think it's very important that they understand what the repercussions can do and be later down the line.
And if that's the case, then there should be nothing done except once a year, where everything's worked on at town meeting and all projects are laid out right down there. You don't do any others. Unworkable, which is unworkable. You won't get.
Well, I just, my biggest, I do every meeting. I get 1 K plus. That's more than the town population, isn't it?
We have, what, 1723 or something like that.
I mean, sometimes I get 1.4. So we hit everybody in town for 4 months. You can't tell me that these people did not see it on a video. Even Albino recording it. So there's two.
Are there comments?
Well,
No comments of mine. I don't answer comments anyways. I refuse to answer comments, but I'm just saying. For 4 months, so I think the information's been out there, so why wasn't it brought up before now?
I can't answer that question. But I do want to impress upon everybody. This board wants to work with everyone. We want to do the best job we can and take care of as much as we can. Okay. There are some things that are out of our control that we're never going to be able to take care of. That we're just, what happens, happens. It is what it is. I will say this, if we can keep 50% of the people happy, we are doing a smoking good job. Seriously, because there's always differences of opinion and differences on ways to do things. So, I spoke my piece on the sign, so I will leave it to my colleagues.
I was all for putting on your friend and after Joe spoke, hell, you just brought up that fact, which I didn't think about. Fact that you set the precedence. And just like you said, it now ties your hands up, so every time you need to spend some money, you're gonna have to send it from the town.
Well, I think,
Or there's that possibility.
right, but I think because of the amount of money, which so far it's been thrown around 14, 25, 33,000. You know, which I don't even know what it is, nothing's been opened up yet, you know. I think it's the amount of money that's concerning people. And some people, to be honest, you know, it's not just 3 or 4 people that, you know, mentioned to that they're not crazy about the aesthetics of it, you know. They don't want to see a digital sign coming downtown, and that's neither here nor there, but it's what some people's preferences are.
Shall express that, could have 4 months ago.
Well, they don't really know when,
No, because some have their own.
it's because,
Don't know, because we don't have a sign up there.
well, they, they don't show up. They don't show up for anything. we've had major things, you know. Well, so we can put it on a referendum, we can have a a meeting on it, and then, people will feel that it's been fair, you know, that's what I'm saying, you know, this money, yeah, we have a capital improvement account, but we take it for the things that are absolutely determined to be necessary most of the time.
Okay, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna question you with that statement, Rick.
Yeah,
Who makes the determination that it is absolutely necessary?
well, the American Disability Act,
No, you need to answer that question.
yeah,
Don't point out to a requirement of compliance. Absolutely not.
right.
Who makes the determination that it is absolutely necessary?
Well, for the operations of the office, the selectmen do for the programming, for the website. That's administration stuff that we recommend and help with.
No. You, me,
Yeah,
and Frank,
yeah, the selectmen,
we're the ones that make that decision, okay? So the absolute necessity, okay? So to put it out there, and this is where I see the problem is gonna be, is your opinion is different than mine, and it's good that we have diversity to have these discussions,
Mhm.
and I'll always admit that differences in opinion and difference in view is always good, because you'll say something like, I didn't think about that. That's a good point. Okay, so that changes my thought process, as it would be Frank or yourself or anybody else. So now what you're saying is you want it so that 1,700 individuals are going to have that opportunity every single action that happens at this table.
If I get feedback from a lot of people on a lot of things for money, I probably would bring it up to the board and say,
So what's that number? A lot of people, give me a number.
well, if it's 60% of the people that I run into, I don't go and solicit.
Just give me a number.
I don't solicit. It's a different number for different.
Well, if you're,
give me a number.
you say that, if a good amount of people come to you with, they have a question on something, what's a good amount of people? A good amount of people for me in a day is 15, I usually have anywhere from 10 to 30 people, daily through my office, okay? So 15, that's a pretty good deal, in a week's time, we have a hot topic that comes in to, to a selectmen's meeting. A good amount is, the same, 15, 20 people, like, hey, they're, consistent with themselves, with the point of view. Like, hey, we really need to have this changed. This one thing needs to change. So and I would bring it 100%. Hey guys, people are bumping the guns about this. They're saying this, and we need to talk about it. I am I'm stumped on this one. This is a good one.
Well,
I don't want to put.
You're in place to make these decisions. I don't see why this has to turn around and now everything has to go back, be re-voted on every item. That's, you talk about a waste of taxpayers' time.
Well,
This is a waste.
Yes.
Well,
And the time we put into it.
it's not a waste of time.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yes, it is.
Why is it a waste of time if you did a study on something?
Oh,
This committee or this group of people was asked, we all raised our hand to be on the sign committee. And again, I asked, where is the money coming from? Capital improvement. Do we have money? Yes, we do.
It's coming from capital improvement if it's voted on to take it from there, but it wasn't saying. It's blank check, it's all blank check.
Hold up, guys. Take it down a notch. Come on.
You don't get a blank check.
Sign will be improvement to this town.
I'm not saying it isn't, but I'm just, there's 11,000 coming in for a salt shed door, right? There's another 11,000. It just keeps.
Yes.
Okay, well,
Committee.
don't.
But it's still working, it's still taxpayer money.
Who's the account?
Well,
It's,
I'm telling you that my basic decision on what to do is based on the fact that all the time that we put into it, nothing was said, and then when the right here trying to open the bids, then they brought it up. I have a real problem with that because I've been involved in town quite a few years, and I've been, put out a lot of bids, and one time we put out a bid. And then something, I don't remember the exact details of it, but something happened that we wanted to rebid it. Let me tell you, that's not good business.
Okay, so
You're right. He's absolutely right. But these people the 3 people, why didn't they email Alina or Beth or Lynn? I'm not for this, Oh, I understand they're gonna be opening up the bids and, I don't want this. Why haven't you spoken up?
I did last week.
No, 4 months ago?
I didn't know what the money was. Can't, I'm voting on what the money is. I don't know, do you know what the money is?
I have no
I
idea,
don't either.
but I
I
didn't
know,
know.
but I get an idea from what, one meeting I went to was 14,000 to 20 was mentioned.
From all the estimates.
Right, right.
Talking 10, 20 years ago, maybe.
No, that was the share.
Ted,
This is a dead horse that we're beating. But my question is, what you said, that this, if we're gonna take it to referendum. Okay, say. You mentioned earlier that we may have to replace the fire chief's vehicle.
Mhm.
I don't wanna spend that money. So are you gonna take it to referendum on that? Or the door that we're putting in at the thing to save the salt, did you bring that up in front of the town? It was mentioned in the selectmen's meeting, yes. But what happens if someone comes and says, no, I don't wanna spend that money? Are you gonna take it to referendum then? This is what you're doing, you're opening doors for stuff that's gonna make your guys' job a living hell. Because you're taking the power away from your board on the capital improvement things. So if Dickie needs a new fire truck or whatever, that comes out of capital improvement. I don't wanna do that. We need a new town truck for plowing. Deal with what you got, fix it. I don't wanna do that. Are you gonna take it to referendum?
You're one voter.
Exactly.
come down, bring it down.
Oh, and then, okay.
Stop, we're done, we're done.
Appreciate you.
Lynn, could you get to Joe or Deb or Chad or Whit?
Yep.
Wasn't there somebody else? There was somebody else.
Well,
Joe.
and-
Don't buy this.
Yeah.
Liz,
So you-
yes.
Okay, so could you give one of the bids? As the committee, I'd like to request that you open them and compile the information that Joe had said, the base, the electrical, come up with a total cost. Okay, for the 4 of them, okay?
Do you,
And bring that back and present it to the select.
do you also want us to pick a chair?
Doesn't matter. I don't have any preference in that at all. You're all responsible adults. I have no, yeah. You're fine. Are you good with that?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah. You good with that? Perfect. I would like to ask that the committee have the results, back to the select board. No later than. Let's see. February 12th. No, I'm sorry, February 10th. Because the 11th is the last. Select
Meeting?
board meeting prior to the February 15th. Request for town clerk for warrant
Mhm,
and ballot creation.
okay. Okay.
so the time, what time?
Close the wood,
Huh?
close the business.
They're gonna have the meeting, they're gonna bring it to us on the 10th.
No,
No,
they're
Okay,
gonna have the information compiled.
right,
So that it gets presented to the select board by the 11th
okay,
selectmen's meeting.
okay.
Because that is the last
It
selectmen's
was the
meeting
meeting before, right,
prior to the 15th,
right,
which is the drop dead date
for
for
the
the
meeting,
town clerk request for ballot and.
The referendum, right.
creation.
okay, so they'll have it at the selectmen's meeting on the 11th. Right,
Yes.
okay,
Okay. Do you have any? Also.
and that'll be at the, we're gonna be at the community center, yeah. No, I don't have anything else, God forbid.
Anything from you folks? No? Yes, sir.
Vote changes to the fall of the select board.
Yes. Now, I want to make sure we're clear. Proposed changes. There are no proposed changes yet. Okay, you can,
No, I mean, you said we could.
yes, and we will take any of those requests from anybody. In regards to any of the ordinances, okay? Just please be aware that. That request is gonna get vetted with the town's attorney. If it can be added because it has, a legal backing, yes. If it's a change that has no legal backing, it will not be. Because that document has to be defendable and any and all changes we have to have a final legal review prior to the document being presented for public hearing. That's the solid document. And that's worth the last 7 days prior to vote. Changes can happen to that document up to 7 days prior to vote. So, yes, any ideas or whatever you like to see, if they're legal changes, yes. Turn them into the board, yes.
And we have the budget meeting on Monday, the 27th.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's gonna be the rec department, right, they requested, I think they requested, didn't they, last meeting?
The budget we're talking about.
Right, but didn't Willie request last meeting to be placed,
I don't think he called, what it is.
uh-huh, oh, you said it's on the meeting minutes, I don't know if it's in the minutes.
Willie wanted to go first last meeting. and-
Right, because he had the wrestling was going on. During
Oh,
the
okay,
selectmen's meeting, yeah.
all right, yeah, all right, thanks. All right,
Anybody? I make a motion with adjourn.
second.